Alav Shalom, that we have to realize that the Torah, what is it called? A lot of people call it 5 books of Moses. But really, what is it? Hashem gave us the Torah. Why is it called 5 books of Moses? And as we know, the prophet Malachi says, Zichru et Torat Moshe Abdi. Remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant. Why is it so related to Moshe? 5 books of Moses. So you have to realize the Torah is not just written Torah. It's also oral Torah. Torah Sheba'al Peh. You know, there's halakha that we learn from the Pesukim. There's many interpretations of the Pesukim. There's a whole mystical secrets, Kabbalah, that we have associated also with the Torah. Even though it's all not written in the verse, it's hinted to, and it's inside, embedded inside the Pesukim. But we have to realize that Moshe received most of the Torah, majority of the Torah, orally. A small portion was written, but most of the Torah is oral. And therefore what? He passed it down to the next generation, and he was the one who explained it beautifully to the next generation. So therefore really, it's all the Zechut of Moshe. The whole oral Torah, B'zchut Moshe. And we have many halachot, we see in the Gemara, they're called halakha Moshe Misinai. Traditions that are attributed from Moses, who said to us, oh, I received this straight from Hashem in Har Sinai. There's no pasuk that says this, but I'm telling you, Hashem told me this is halakha. And therefore you see, because of his giving over of the tradition to the next generation, that's why we still know what the Torah really says and what the Torah says to keep. So therefore we have to realize that without Moshe Rabbeinu, we wouldn't really know what the Torah says. We would just have a book that we can't read, that we don't. It's like a code. It says, put the tefillin between your eyes. What does that mean? Between my eyes over here? So we have to have Gemara. Gemara came from where? It was passed down orally from Moses. They wrote it down eventually, but already Moshe Rabbeinu and Har Sinai knew the interpretation. The Torah says, it's in the Torah, you shall slaughter as according to how I commanded you. There's many laws of shechita. Does it say in the Torah how to do shechita? Nowhere. So where all those laws come from? We know there's a hint to shechita from the Torah. It says, V'zavachta k'asher tziviticha. You have to slaughter according to how I commanded you. But it doesn't say the laws there. All the laws are oral. They're all part of the oral Torah. Gemara, Shulchan Aruch. It's all oral Torah. So you see that most, if not all of our Torah, we would not be able to do it properly if we didn't have the oral Torah. And that comes from the Gedolim. That comes from our previous sages, from the previous generation, who passed it down to the next generation. You notice the Pachad Yitzchak writes, he says, why did Hashem make it that the oral Torah is so cryptic? Why did Hashem make it that you had to memorize it when it wasn't written down? And even in later generations when they wrote it down, it's very hard to read the Gemara by yourself. It's so difficult. Why didn't they just put everything in order, put everything in simple language, that everyone should understand? It should be so easy to access. You just, a lot of times the Gemara goes off topic, comes back, brings up right to contradiction. It's a lot of times you don't see the connection. A lot of times you fall through the cracks. You don't know what the Gemara wants from you. Why did Hashem make it that way? Why is the Torah so difficult to decode? And a lot of times you need a rabbi. You need a rabbi to guide you. You need to go to class. You need someone to do it together with a chavruta, to break your head together. Why did Hashem make it that way? So the Pachad Yitzchak says that in order for the Torah to stay amongst Am Yisrael, in order that there should always be a relationship, a rabbi and students, a chavruta with his friend, in that way, Hashem wanted that the goyim shouldn't come and open the book and just easily read. Doesn't want it to come and just be easy to access. You have to have skills, and you have to use other Jews to help you. Hashem wanted it that way, that there should always be a class setting, there should always be a rabbi and student setting, there should always be a chavruta setting. So he made it that this is the way that we study oral Torah. But the point is, if we don't study it, if we don't receive the tradition from our gedolim of what the Torah says, then we be lost. We wouldn't be keeping Torah anymore, Chaz v'shalom. We wouldn't really know what the Torah says. So, we have to realize that we have to look at the tradition, the chain of tradition that we have passed down, and we have to realize that our gedolim, our rabbis, we would have nothing. We would have nothing without them. How many people call the rabbi when somebody dies? Rabbi, what do we do? I don't know what to do. How do I do levaya properly? How do I do burial properly? He calls the rabbi when it's Brit Milah. What's the laws of Brit Milah? I don't know. How do I do this? I know I have to do something. When a person gets married, Rabbi, can you marry yourself? What do we do? How do we do Kiddush? Right? All these life cycles, all these situations, we all realize, I need the rabbi. I don't know what to do. I need guidance. But the problem is, when we think our everyday living, we don't need that tradition. We don't need his guidance. We don't need his advice. We think that we'll be fine without him. Chaz v'shalom. And if whatever you don't do in the beginning, you'll end up doing in the end. Don't wait for when life hits you, and then you go crying to the rabbi. You need to go and get advice in the beginning. Many people come and say, Rabbi, I have no parnasah, I'm not married yet, I have this problem in relationship, I have this problem, that problem, I'm addicted to this, I want to get out of this, I want to change my ways. I said, listen, you know why you got here? Because a long time ago, you didn't have a rabbi and you made one wrong decision after another wrong decision after another wrong decision, and now you're in this hole and you want to come out. So therefore, a person has to realize that every part of our life, the Torah is the blueprint for it. Not always do we understand it, but we need help to understand it. Who helps us understand it? A good rabbi. You call a rabbi. I heard this halakha about you can't eat meat and fish and dairy. What's all that about? Where'd that come from? I don't understand this. Why would I keep it? There's a source. That's the source. That's the reason. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, good. Thank you for so much explaining to me. So you see, without the chachamim, we would see something in the Torah, we'd say, what is this? It doesn't connect. I don't want this. But because of the tradition passed down from our previous sages, and they give you the background, and they give you the explanation, you ask him questions. How important is a question and answer session between a congregant and his rabbi? Unbelievable. But what? You shoot yourself in the foot when you don't allow a question and answer session to happen. You don't make that first step. You don't make that first phone call. Hey, Rabbi, I'm in a situation now with my in-laws. It's such a shalom bayit. I already know in my heart what I really want to do, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm going to make shalom bayit worse. Can you help me? Well, but who says that's right? Maybe this is the right thing to do. And you have that question and answer session. You overcome your Yetzirah because of that. You have this halakha. Your wife says, you're not allowed to do this. No, don't worry about it. I think it's allowed. You know what? Ask the rabbi. Hey, I have to ask the rabbi. I want to do this. That's it. I'm doing it. No, but if you really want to put yourself in the right situation, you're going to call and ask and voice your concerns, and he'll address them. That's why people, they need to find a rabbi, they connect to them, so they can address their concerns, give them that tradition, and pass it down. Now you understand it, and you say to your son, no, my son, it's not allowed. But why? I remember, I called the rabbi, he spoke to me, explained to me the reason, this little kemech cheshan, is this what Bet Yosef means, But if I don't have that experience, I don't have that relationship, I don't have that exposure to that question and answer, so then I don't know, Rabbi said, I don't know, I have no idea. And then the tradition breaks. So therefore, if you want to be the next link in the chain of Mesorah, you got to be linked up to Moshe Rabbeinu and the sages. Baruch Nayonah.